May 12th, age 767, a date that the Dragon Ball world lived in infamy when the androids attacked, causing an entire rift in the Dragon Ball series as Future Trunks' world was completely demolished, destroyed, and put in terror as androids 17 and 18 wrecked the entire future. But in the future of the androids and in Trunks' timeline, there are a lot of unanswered questions that we never know, and I will talk to you about this today. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into this video. So, the first unanswered question about this future timeline is dealing with Goku. And this is the simple fact that we have absolutely no idea how Goku managed to kill Frieza and King Cold. What we know is that Goku came to Earth using instant transmission and he managed to defeat them. And if you look at the present timeline, it was shown that Bulma was well aware of exactly when Goku was gonna come back to Earth. But the question that makes you wonder is, how did Goku kill Frieza and King Cold? Did he kill them immediately? Did he wait for them to leave or give them an ultimatum? Did he just come and immediately just blast them out of the air? And how tough of a fight did they put up against Goku? The world will never know, but my theory is that Goku gave them an ultimatum, knowing Frieza and King Cold they didn't take it, and Goku was forced to use force. Now, the more popular question of Trunks' future that a lot of Dragon Ball fans have thought about is, what in the world did the other Dragon Team members or the Z Fighters do when they died? When you consider the fact that the androids pretty much turned the Earth into a living hell, you would have thought that with King Cold, that with the Namekians on all the other planets, that there would have been some form of communication between the dead and the living. And it's very hard to believe that throughout all of those years that passed, taking the 13 years from when the androids attacked all the way up until Gohan died, and even going back from Trunks trying to go back in time, it's hard to believe that nobody had any form of communication. And what did the others do in the afterlife? They had nothing better to do, and that's an unanswered question. My guess, however, is that if you analyze the characters of the Dragon Ball world, it makes the most sense to believe that based off of how they die, they probably went to heaven, and it limited the amount of communication that they would have had, considering the fact that in the manga when Goku had died, he actually went to heaven if you see him doing the Buu arc. So maybe they just went to another part of the afterlife and couldn't communicate. But that honestly doesn't make sense. That's just the most reasonable thing to say. Now the next question is dealing with Future Gohan. How long did he fight the androids, and at what point did he actually turn into a Super Saiyan? Well, we can assume that Future Gohan was fighting them throughout those 13 years, but in reality, if Gohan was always weaker than the androids, how the hell could he have survived that long? And if he did survive that long, why didn't he get more Zenkai boost? And on top of that, at what point did Gohan just learn how to turn Super Saiyan? Did he learn how to turn Super Saiyan right after Krillin and everybody died? Did it take him a few years? Was he hiding from the androids for years and then he finally decided to fight them in a suicide mission when he realized Trunks had so much potential? We'll never know. But my theory on this case is that based off of what the androids were saying and based off of what the Ox King was saying, it's pretty clear that Gohan has fought them multiple times throughout the years. It's obvious he doesn't fight them every single day, but it's clearly evident that he's probably fought him at least half a dozen times based off of how well the androids seem to have known him. And on top of that, based off of how well Gohan is able to use the Super Saiyan form, he clearly has mastery of this, unlike the present Gohan who took some time to actually learn it. So he's clearly had Super Saiyan for several years. And in terms of how Gohan survived against the androids, it's safe to say that if you look at the Dragon Ball Super manga panel that they added, it shows that Gohan was pretty beat up and he escaped the battle with all of the others who were fighting against the androids as he went to try and help Bulma and Baby Trunks get the Dragon Balls. So that pretty much explains that, and that was a good little extra thing the manga of Super added. Now the next question is dealing with Future Trunks, and this is the question of how the hell did Future Trunks get so strong by himself in 3 years after Gohan had died? Now, I understand that power scaling in Dragon Ball can always be off in many ways, but when you look at Future Trunks, the #1 rule we know about Dragon Ball is the fact of the matter is that when you train with somebody who is stronger than you, it helps you increase your own power. But if you're training by yourself and you have even less experience of fighting than Gohan, it's very hard to believe you can get pretty much almost as strong as what Gohan was 3 years later by yourself with no real guidance. And that's one thing that I've always wondered. But I guess the best way to answer that would be a simple plot device to make someone stronger. And in addition, I thought of 2 more quick questions to add to this video as I was editing this. And the first one is, there seems to be a discrepancy in the amount of time that takes place between Future Gohan and Trunks fighting against the androids as opposed to the fight where Future Gohan actually died. In the manga, it says there is a 1.5 years of time that takes place after Gohan fought the androids and supposedly lost his arm to the final battle that Gohan had, whereas the TV special, it doesn't really show how much time actually passed, but we assume that it was probably a few days or a few weeks for Gohan and Trunks to heal up and fight once again. And the other discrepancy is, when Trunks tried to fight the androids years later to avenge Gohan and humanity, how in the world did Bulma manage to save Trunks, or how was Trunks in a position to carry himself over to Bulma in order for him to heal him, considering that the world is so big and it would be very hard for me to believe that Bulma could pinpoint exactly where Trunks was by herself without possibly, you know, going through some trouble all on her own. And for Trunks, I mean, I doubt a person could move that well after the condition of how badly he got beaten by the androids. So those are 2 more questions I wanted to add. And the last and final question about the androids is, why were the future androids weaker, and why were they so wicked at the same time? And I did a video with Jax Blade ago weeks talking about this, and the fact of the matter is the best explanation to explain why they were more powerful in the present would be the fact that the butterfly effect obviously would cause a rift in time to change all of the events and reset them from that point on. And in terms of being wicked, that could also be a clear thing about programming, as in the present timeline, due to the butterfly effect once again, Dr. Gero probably suppressed their aggression so that he can control them a lot better, as opposed to the future androids, even though they eventually killed him anyways. But overall, guys, these are my unknown questions about Trunks' future. I gave you guys my theories on these issues, and also in addition to this, let me know what you guys think about all of these questions. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below, as I will be responding to a lot of your comments. So with everything else said, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys.